Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another day of today's special politics but Senate prediction video. So today I'm going to be discussing about my tilt, lean, likely, and safe states, which I don't believe I was very clear on my recent prediction video. So I'm just going to be very clear on that one right now. So on our safe state. A safe state is no competitive whatsoever. It's going to be a 15% to higher margin. So a safe state is what I do not even consider to even be remotely competitive. Um, on our likely state, a likely state's that's when states can be a little bit more competitive, but more than likely it probably won't, with a likely margin of 6 to 14% margin. And our lean, that's when it gets more competitive from there. Lean is what I consider a 2 to 5% margin. And our tilt, this can go to either party, but however, one party may have a slight edge that could potentially make or break that election at 0.1 to 1% is what I would consider a tilt. So let's just get right on it. So on our first state that I'll be calling is Colorado. Colorado, I'm already projecting that as a likely state for the Democrats. However, on our RCP average, we have Cory Gardner as a toss-up. Now, I've looked at the RCP polling. I haven't seen any polling from there. However, on our JHK forecast, we have Colorado with the Dems at an 84.5% advantage and the GOP at only a 15.5% advantage of taking the state of Colorado. Um, on our 538 poll, um, on the state of Colorado, we do have, however, a 538 poll that has it's a B pollster, which I would consider is a pretty good pollster at 51% for John Hickenlooper, 42% for Cory Gardner. Hickenlooper at plus 9 point margin there. Um, if you're new to this channel, I am not a guy that trusts polls. However, I am seeing polls becoming more and more accurate, and I like to look at it just to see the very basis of what some people are thinking. Um, and so, when coming to Senator Cory Gardner, Cory Gardner was in the 2014 United States Senate election for Colorado. He barely won the state by 1.9% at 983,891 votes compared to 944,203. And Mark Udall, I'm not sure if I spelled that right. Forgive me if I did spell that wrong, was the incumbent Democratic senator and was voted out. However, I have to admit it makes a lot more sense how he lost, as 2014 was a red wave, and it was pretty clear that the Democrats did not seem favorite at all at taking the 2014 race, especially in the Senate. Um, and Senator Cory Gardner has been voting more to the right and more in favor of President Donald Trump than he should be, which is also hurting his chances of getting reelected. And also with the Supreme Court judge of Brett Kavanaugh and also the impeachment vote, Coloradans are not very favorable of Cory Gardner right now. So going to the very state of Arizona. Arizona, I would list that as a tilt state. For the Democrats, Mark Kelly's doing pretty well in that state. When you go to the RCP average in the state of Arizona, um, you pretty much see Mark Kelly at an advantage 49, 43, 52, 41, 48, 43. Mark Kelly at 0.7.4% average advantage. That's pretty substantial, if I may say so. RCP ranking ranks this as a toss-up Senate race. I could see that too, but I don't see Martha McSally at all regaining or even being elected back, as they even have on the JHK forecast Dems 87.6%, GOP 12.4%. If I was the GOP, I'd be very worried on that Senate race. When you take a look at our even election projection, even has Democratic gain for the Democrats as well. Plus, when you look at the 538 polling on the state of Arizona, Kelly at 53% and Martha McSally at 34%. That's a plus 19% advantage. That is what I consider a safe state. And I mean, though I honestly think that Mark Kelly is going to outperform, and honestly, I think I may even change my projection from a tilt, I don't know what I was thinking, from a tilt to a likely state, because I honestly think that Mark Kelly is going to outperform and do better than what people are expecting on this race. And I mean, Arizona used to have two GOP senators, Senator Jeff Flake and Senator John McCain, and Senator John McCain sadly died, and that was before the 2018 race. On the 2018 race, Senator Jeff Flake had a horrible approval rating, and that didn't go too well for Arizona residents. So they voted for Kirsten Sinema as the new senator representing the state of Arizona, and now she is serving her 6-year term. As for John McCain, when he died, Governor Ducey appointed the losing challenger of the GOP of the 2018 race and put her as a senator, because that's a great idea. I mean, that to Arizona residents, that doesn't really go well, but and because of that, not only is Arizona going from 2 GOP senators to 2 Democratic senators, but it is, even on presidential wise, going to the left more and more, as you see on races as 2008, 2012, and 2016, moving farther and farther to the left and less to the right. But that, my friend, is a different story, which I will be telling you in another video. And so therefore we already have 2 Democratic pickups, the state of Colorado and the state of Arizona, with 2 current GOP senators that could potentially make or break this election cycle. For the state of Alabama, this is the first state I'll be giving as a flip from blue to red for the Republican Party. I believe that the state of Alabama is a lost cause for the Democratic Party at this point. Senator Doug Jones was elected 2017 on a special election where he is serving the remainder of Jeff Sessions' term, who also lost the Republican primary to try to run again for the seat, as he is the former Attorney General to President Donald Trump. I believe President Donald Trump on Twitter fired him as the U.S. Attorney General. But now Tom Huberville is going against the incumbent Democratic Senator Doug Jones, who was facing Roy Moore in the 2017 Senate race, which, not going to lie, I was shocked that Alabama went from flipped from red to blue, but it made sense with Doug Jones' controversy on sexual allegations that really wrecked his campaign. I honestly thought had he not had that, he would have easily won. But that was a significant impact that flipped that state by a bare percentage margin from red to blue. But I honestly think that the Republicans will regain that seat. And yeah, that is that, my folks. And the state of Mississippi, I am also characterizing this as a likely state. When you look at polling in the state of Mississippi, Mark SB and Hyde-Smith 42, 47 Hyde at plus 5%. Um, Mark Espy was he ran in the special race in the 2018 special race. Uh, Hyde-Smith won the race, and I honestly think that she's gonna win it again. I mean, let's be honest. It's Mississippi. I can't stress that enough. I mean, like, unless something dramatically happens to flip the state from for me to characterize it as a likely to a lean, I would be pretty surprised. But I honestly think that she's gonna outperform in the polling, and that is that. As for Georgia election for the Senate election and the special election, I think both of them will go to the Republican Party. However, in the Georgia polling, it does disagree with me on some points. On Ossoff and Purdue, we have a 48 to 46%, with Ossoff, the Democrat, at only a plus 2% advantage. And Ossoff was 44-44. And I honestly do think it'll be a close election with a B to C and B polling average. But we also have an A-rated poll with Warnock and Collins and the current Georgia senator, which, by the way, if you don't know this, Georgia's having a jungle election, which is basically all candidates all in together that are going to be voting. You have to have a 50% margin, which that is not going to happen, which means that there's going to be at least one of these opponents that are going to be, I mean, two of these opponents that are going to be selected for a runoff, and then they're going to be the ones that will be deciding the next senator. So, yeah. So Georgia and Georgia Special, I'm both characterizing as likely. As for the state of Alaska, I'm also characterizing this as a likely. Al Gross is a popular man. By the way, he did win the Democratic primary for that. I believe it was a Democratic, Independent, and another party, but I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm not going to say it. But I honestly don't think that Alaska is going to flip to the Democratic side. Gross at 40-53, 34-39. Honestly, I mean, in a normal time zone, I would probably put this as a safe, but I mean, the Senate race is changing, and I mean, like a few months ago, I honestly thought that the GOP was going to retain the Senate, but then after COVID-19 happened, this changed a lot of things, and that is what is giving the Democrats more of a chance at winning with the COVID-19 pandemic and the presidential performance. So, yeah. As for the state of Kentucky, I'm also characterizing that as a likely state. The state of Kentucky on polling for 538 also have Ms. Graff at 44-49, and as well as our JHK forecast. JHK forecast agrees with GOP 99.3% and Democrats 0.7%. I mean, Mitch McConnell had a 30% approval rating at 2014 in the Senate race, and he still won the election. So I honestly do not see any potential way for the Democrats to gain here. I mean, don't get me wrong, Amy McGrath is an outstanding candidate for the Kentucky Senate race, but I just, even with a popular and good campaign strategy, I just don't see Kentucky flipping at this point. Moving on to the state of Texas. Texas, I'm also characterizing as a likely GOP state. Yes, some other projectors are projecting this as a lean to sometimes even tilt, but I'm pretty sure that Texas is going to go to a likely margin. I mean, when you go to JHK forecast, Texas GOP 88.5, Dem 11.5%, and with I mean, RCP even agrees with me as a lean GOP state with Senator John Corn and MJ Heger, 44, 37, 44, 38, 42, 29, 46, 36. Now, I think what people are trying to push this as a tilt state, mostly because of after the 2018 election race with Ted Cruz and Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke is not like MJ Heger. MJ Heger is different from that of Beto O'Rourke. Um, and Ted Cruz, he ran as an unpopular senator. Ted Cruz, I would never in a million years consider as a popular senator. The state of Texas does not like him, as you can tell by just the 2018 margin of him barely edging out a win in Texas GOP for another 6 years in office as senator. I honestly do think that if he runs for re-election, it may not go too well for the Republican Party then, but um, I will admit Texas is becoming more and more of a toss-up state, but as of right now, in the short term, I don't see it flipping. And polling is even agreeing with me, with even RCP ranking putting this as a lean GOP, and I have to agree with them on that. So, however, I disagree with them putting it as a lean, but I mean, John Corn he's not as hated as Senator Ted Cruz, and I think that's a very big difference from him and incumbent Senator Ted Cruz. Um, and just so you know, I respect all senators. So yeah. But as for the state of Minnesota, I characterize this as a likely state. I honestly think that our CP average has it's a toss-up, but even with 48-45, I think that Tina Smith is going to outperform in the Senate race and easily win the state of Minnesota and do very well there. Moving on to the state of Montana. Montana, I'm also going to characterize this as a tilt Democratic state. Polling will disagree with me on this, but I characterize it as a tilt Democratic state. I honestly think that Steve Bullock is going to win. RCP ranking even has this as a toss-up state with Steve Daines, the incumbent senator, and Steve Bullock, the incumbent governor of Montana. Steve Bullock is a very popular senator of the state of, senator, no, governor of the state of Montana. He is very well approved of in the pandemic and how he is handling things. And I honestly do think that Steve Bullock does have a fair shot at winning. However, Steve Daines is not as popular as Steve Bullock, and though I could see Steve Daines winning the Montana Senate race, I think that Steve Bullock may have a slight advantage by winning the state, just by his popularity, and being well known in the state. The JHK forecast disagree with me, of course, with 65.7% GOP, and Democrats with 34.3% to the Democrats. Moving on to the state of Iowa, I'm also characterizing this as a tilt Democratic state for Teresa Greenfield, and I agree with the RCP ranking. It is a toss-up state, but according to the RCP average, Greenfield is leading in the state by 0.3%, and Ernst was plus 1% at 47, 48, 46, 43, 42, 43. I honestly, and I totally agree with it being toss-up. It can go to Senator Joni Ernest, but I honestly, I don't think it's gonna go to the Republicans, with Iowa and JHK forecast at 58.1% to the Republicans, and Democrats with only 41.9% to the Democratic Party. Now, as for moving on to the state of Michigan, I'm characterizing this as a likely state. I think that Gary Peters is going to outperform in the state. Polls, honestly, RCP ranking has it as a toss-up state. I 100% disagree with that. Peters at 47, 48, 50, 45, 50, 40. Peters and RCP average at 49, 44.3, 4.7% advantage. John James ran in the 2018 race against Debbie Stabenow, who easily carried the Senate Michigan race for another 6-year term. John James. I don't think he's gonna be able to take out Gary Peters, especially with such a opposition to the Republican Party right now, with the President of the United States helping the Democrats energize their base. I honestly think that the state of Michigan, even in presidential wise, is going to flip to the Democratic Party. Even if the Democrats did their very worst, I would still have Michigan as a likely state for the Democrats in the Senate race. Mostly because the state of Michigan, President Trump in 2016 won that state less than Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And I honestly believe that the state of Michigan is not going to make the same mistake that they did in 2016, at least in the Democratic Party side. I honestly think that they're going to be more serious this time than from where they were in 2016, where even a group of voters had people in 2016 have 60%, 62% thinking that Hillary was going to win, and 28% thinking that Donald Trump was going to win. Boy, were we wrong. But, yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's move on to another state, the state of South Carolina. I lean this as, well, not a tilt, but a lean GOP state. In the state of South Carolina, they have this as a toss-up state with Graham at 8.0 advantage, Graham at +7, Graham at +17, and a tie right from July of 30th to August 3rd, with Lindsey Graham being the incumbent senator and Jamie Harrison the Democratic challenger. Lindsey Graham, I'll let you decide on Lindsey Graham. He's said some interesting statements in the past, but I'm not gonna get into that. Yeah. As for the state of North Carolina, I'm gonna characterize this as a lean Democratic state. I honestly think that North Carolina will go to the Democratic Party, and North Carolina RCP ranking has this as a toss-up state, with Cunningham at 46.7 and Tom Tillis at 41.3, with Cunningham at 5.4% advantage. And I honestly, North Carolina Senate race has been going Democrat on one side, Republican on the other side every 6 years during this class. I honestly think it's going to go from red to blue, mostly because Kyle Cunningham is really doing well campaign-wise on the state, and I honestly think that he'll do phenomenal on when coming to the November race. As for New Hampshire, I rate this as a likely. New Hampshire and Colorado and Arizona, these three states used to be, Colorado and New Hampshire, these two states used to be swing states, and now they're moving farther and farther to the left after President Donald Trump. New Hampshire and Colorado has been moving farther and farther to the left since 2008. And it's moving farther and farther away as a swing state, including Iowa. Iowa used to be a swing state as well, but it's moving farther and farther to the right. And that is why I have Iowa as a tilt state, because that may change, because I can see Johnny Ernst taking the state either way. But I mean, already with me characterizing New Hampshire, we already have the Democrats with 51, Republicans to 48. And this is where the Democrats now get a net gain of 52 to 48 seats, with the Democrats already taking control of the Senate. I personally believe that Maine used to Maine Susan Collins. I really feel bad for Susan Collins. Susan Collins was the most popular senator, and now she is now the least popular senator, worse than Mitch McConnell, which says a lot. If if you ask me. In 2014, she won by 68.5%, a major landslide of 495 votes compared to 190,244 on her challenger, 31.5% for the Dems. She was very inspirational to Maine. Senator Collins was known as bipartisan, and George W. Bush just recently, not long ago, has endorsed her for Senate again for the state of Maine, saying that she is bipartisan. But even the Maine forecast, and JHK forecast, agrees with me on Dems being 66.6 to GOP 33.4%. I honestly think that the Democrats will win the state of Maine, and even on polling, it agrees with me on the state of Maine. If I can just find it really quick. Yep, there we go. Gideon with 49.44. I had a B rating poll. Gideon at +5%, +5, +8. Even Maine RCP ranking as a toss-up, which I respect. I can see Senator Collins gaining momentum and trying to regain the state, but Sarah Gideon is a 4.5% advantage on an RCP average, and I honestly think that she is going to win by at least a 50% margin, mostly because Senator Susan Collins, the reason that got her so unfavorable was the two major votes, the Kavanaugh vote and the impeachment vote, and that really tainted her chances on the very state of Maine. But that is what is now making Maine competitive and is making it a potential gain for the Democratic Party. So there you have it, folks. We have the Democrats with 52 seats and the Republicans with 48. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a nice day.